following is brought to you by Cranbrook Television Limited.
Welcome to Round Town.
1978 Sam Steele Days Parade.
1980, there's a period.
Welcome to Rocky Hockey.
This is my guest, Roy Orbison.
Standing there, but it's really only about 800. They're there in this kind of coolish day. It's not really lousy for runners, I guess. People prefer to run in this kind of thing instead of in the bright sun. But Francis Mansbridge is giving them the news, what they can do, where they can go, how they have to come back, where they go through the winning end, and so on and so forth. Francis, of course, was the instigator of the race 7 years ago. 1979, he began the first EK 10K. 10K, of course, being 10 kilometers. In case any of you don't know what that is in miles, it's approximately 6-ish miles. And all these people seem ready and willing to go out and go the limit. Some of them won't be running. Some of them will be simply walking. It's a good outing. He's getting ready. There he goes. Look at them. Aren't you glad you're not in the middle of the road? It's evidently important to get a good start, but most of the people who run the time don't need it. They are busloads of kids, of course, from all the school districts in the whole East Kootenay. You can see all the kids here. The older folks probably will come up nearer the end. Some parents came to run with their kids and then said, "Oh, I think the kids had better go today. It's a little too chilly," but it is a good way to keep warm. Look at them. There they go. Doesn't look like 800 people to me, but that was the registration. And off they go. Away they'll be gone for about, well, more than half an hour. The fastest time last year was about 31 minutes, so we can't expect to see anything more for about that time this year. We'll be back to talk to you when they start coming around to the finish again. Meanwhile, they'll have been around past the high school, past the golf course, around by Idlewild Park, up and down hills. They say this is a fairly hilly run. Some runners like that. Some people would rather have a flatter one. But anyway, this is where they'll go for 6 miles, 10 kilometers. They'll be back in anywhere from, as I say, a little over half an hour to maybe a couple of hours for those who just do the walk. It's kind of a colorful sight when you're standing right in front of them watching them come. It's getting more and more colorful with men wearing their fancy tights now. I see they've taken a leaf out of the women's book and they're beginning to wear the tights to keep their legs warm on cold days like this. And some of them are absolutely magnificent silvers and other colors. They're grand to look at. It's better than a football game. So they do seem to pile up for a long time. When they come back in, they'll be slow at first, and then a big pile up, and then petering out again. A great deal of admiration for people who can go on a long run like this and keep themselves in constant shape to do it. How many pounded legs and so on are treated afterwards, who knows? There's an awful lot strong smell of mint-smelling liniment up at the college, I'll tell you, where everybody was taking off. Everybody has just this last little hill to do before they finish it. It's a little bit discouraging to those that are pretty tired, but it really does test everyone. You make it at the hill at the end okay. We come down to the finish line, and the first runner is on his way up the hill, up to EKCC finish line here. I don't know who it is yet, we can't tell, but he's sure making some good time for this wind. On a day like this, wind will cut down on a runner. And last year's time was approximately 31. I don't know what the time is going to be this time. I don't know when we're going to know either. But here he comes. He's done a pretty good time, and he's all alone. You notice the second one is just coming around the corner now. So he's not got a lot of really tight competition. He's got 2 immediately behind him. Anyway, here's the guy. He's won, number 635, and we're hoping to talk to him in just a minute. So we'll see if we can have a word with him before it looks as though it is Steve Pybus. I think it's Cranbrook's first win, so we'll have a chat with him when he comes through. The race has been run in the past years always by Alberta runners, Lethbridge runners for 5 of the years, once one guy from Red Deer. So here we go. Congratulations. This is Steve Pybus, isn't it? Good to see you. What's your name?
Stephen Pybus.
Yeah, can you stand over here so we can have a chat with you, if you don't mind? Okay, how was the run?
Hilly and hard.
Yeah, how did the wind work? Did it give you the time that you expected to have?
Oh no, today is slow, but
Yeah.
wind slows you up quite a bit.
Do you know what your time was?
No, I don't.
They don't tell you, eh? Okay, well, it's good to talk
Just
to you.
praise the Lord.
Yeah, thanks. 2 other runners in, at least one of them from Lethbridge. I didn't catch the other one. We're always glad to talk to the people as they come in the first. They're usually the ones that aren't as puffing and panting as hard as the ones that come in later. They sometimes have to work a little harder at it. Nobody else in sight at all. Number 2, good. What's your name?
Brent Yelly.
How do you do, Brent, and where are you from?
Nelson.
Good, congratulations. Have you run this race before?
Yep. It's
Good,
third
yeah?
year.
3rd year. How did you do before as well?
Third, second last year, and second again
this year. So that's pretty good. What did you think of the weather? Was that good running weather?
Not bad, nice if it wasn't so windy.
In the windy, probably cut your time, did it?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, good for coming over from Nelson. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. And our 3rd winner, how do you do?
Good.
And what's your name?
Neil Duluth.
Neil Duluth. We don't have your names, unfortunately. We have to ask you when you come, so you have to still remember it by now.
right.
Eh? Have you run the race before?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah, and have you been improving your time, or how's this?
Well, last place I was 3rd last year. I don't know what the time was today.
Yeah,
I didn't
so you
start
don't-
my watch. I was a little late on the.
I see.
A little late on the starting. I was still taking clothes off. So.
Yeah, so how does the wind affect your run?
It's not too bad.
Yeah?
I mean, everybody has to run in the wind, so.
Better than hot, eh?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, thanks very much, and
Thanks.
congratulations. They're beginning to come around the edge now, in larger numbers, the people who don't run quite as fast. And we have officials in the way, so it's a little hard to get a look at everybody, but here they come. Probably another 4 or 5, and they'll soon be coming around the corner again. The race is divided into categories for the kids under 10, and then 11 to 13, and 14 to 16, 17 to 19, and then they start going by decades after you get to 20. The 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and after 50, it's anybody at all. So there will be prizes in all those categories. They will be awarded later this afternoon. Trophies, of course, for some of them, and there are ribbons and so on to go along. There are special prizes too for the people who have been in every race so far. I think there are 5 of them left. It goes down every year. Somewhere I had their names. Fred Clark, Steve Kemp, Gary Kemp, Sandy Stewart, and Duncan McDonald will, if they are here in the race, as far as I know they are. They will get special awards for having been in all 7 of the EK 10K races. It's not a mean achievement to have done that. Some people have problems being just in the city for the time, and then again everybody doesn't run ready for a 10K race at this particular time of year every year. We have another old-timer in the race. I don't know when he's coming through, but Jim Patterson, who was the chairman of the East Kootenay College Board when the race was inaugurated, is running again this year, and he's made just about all of the races, but he's missed 1 or 2. I'm not sure which. So he'll be coming along one of these times. It looks as though we probably have some of the members of the other categories, winners of the other categories coming in now, some of the younger ones. I don't know that I've seen a woman come in yet, but as I just said to this person who was standing beside me, we'll win it one of these days. The women will come in first. It certainly is chilly enough that people who are coming through are not, as usual, dripping in sweat on a day like today. It can be a convenience, but also it's a problem with the wind and so on. There were, in fact, not quite 800 people registered. There were more, I guess, probably closer to 750 this year. As I said earlier, that compares to about 630 who were registered in 1984's race. And that's come up steadily since the first race when there were 96 people running. Now there's competitions between schools, and various schools teacher and student categories. The EKCC itself has a competition between the instructors and the students, and they have a trophy, which is really a gilded pair of old racked up runners and several other athletic accoutrements gilded and stuck on a trophy that goes back and forth between the students and the faculty for the numbers of people who participate. I don't know what the prospects are this year, but we'll know when you get to the awards ceremony. Well, people are coming in and looking as though they've survived it relatively well, and we're still very short way into the race, just slightly over half an hour. So certainly not where the major number of people are going to be. I don't know how the checkout people were. They were making sure that everybody was still around the race and giving them water if they wanted it. I don't think people drink on a short race like this. I say short. This isn't a marathon. Remember, there are people who run 26 miles, not just 6. So, toques and all, part of the gear at this year's affair. It's nice to watch all the fancy things. Also interesting to watch the different ways that they decide how to keep the numbers on every year. One year they were flapping in the wind so much they were making so much noise you couldn't use a microphone one year. This year they're all pinned on with pins. I think they're people from all over Alberta again this year. There's some of those fancy tights that I was talking about. They look much warmer, as I say. Probably copied from women's apparel. Some people with very sore legs I see coming in and feeling maybe a little bit stiffer or sorer than they did when they started. And people are beginning to come in clumps now. What they do is they come into the chute, and they have to be left in order so that they can get their number tags pulled off. Those little tags that were attached to the bottom of the numbers are put on a big pin, taken into the college, and in the college they're entered into the computer. And the computer, which already has the printout of all the names, then does a printout of the times and gets it straight as to who was a winner and so on. So here we have the first woman. I hope we'll be able to get to talk to her for a minute and see how she found the race. She's going to wait a minute till she gets her breath, but here we have her not that long after the overall winner. I have no idea whether there were how many more men than women there were in the race, or how many there were in each category. We never did get that. Anyway, it's quite a performance, and it gets more and more complex every year with this business of getting people's times and getting them to them. The first year or two we were yelling. I remember yelling out times to each other, and we thought we were very careful, but there may have been a couple of people who were a few seconds off in the times we gave them, and that's important to a runner too. So that's why it takes so much time and so many people along the chute after they've come through the finish line, keep them in line, get their times right, and so on and so forth. It's not just a little thing that you organize on a half an hour anymore. You, in fact, take days and days and days to plan your team, and it takes it takes a good up to 100 people to actually do the work that goes on behind the scenes with this kind of race. This race is, they say, was the first one in the area, and it seems to be drawing people all the time. We get people who are very good runners, so that they're getting good times. That's important, as well as just the fact that they come from all over. The college, of course, puts its heart and soul into it, and it gives everybody a chance to come and see the college. You can see it from the inside and from the outside, and see some of the important, a lot of college students run, in fact. So we have people who are out running up and down this course in noon hours and so on all the time. Here's the first woman runner. Hello and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your name?
Shelley Jankoyak.
Shelley Jankoyak. Where are you from?
Lethbridge.
Lethbridge.
Yeah.
Good for you. Have you run the race before?
Yeah, I did 2 years ago.
Yeah, and how did you find it today?
It was a bit tougher today.
Yeah, it was a little bit windier today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was about hot the last time, probably.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's no wind at all. It was really nice last time.
So how was your time? Do you think it was as good as your normal?
Yeah, it was close to 40 minutes, just a little under 40 minutes, I think.
So that's
it is PR for here.
Yeah? Good. Which category are you in?
18 to 19 or 17 to 19, whichever.
Good for you. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good to talk to you. They're coming in with windbreakers on too, which is an indication it's not getting any warmer. I guess it's not as bad as it is in Alberta today, and over toward Fernie, where they came in with snow all on the backs of their trucks and snow on the top of everything, and out of Alberta, where they had a freak snowstorm, they call it. We in BC think that that's not so freaky for Alberta, but it seems that that's the way it is. I think the Tooks are the most colorful part here. They're good. This year there's a new twist. People are not being given the winners lists just because they entered the race. It's got so that the list is so long, the printout is so huge that that kind of thing costs a couple of bucks these days. So there's other indications of the size of it. There still is a special t-shirt, specially designed t-shirt for anybody who enters the EK 10K. This year it's a white one with a racer, and the EK 10K sort of indicated with a kind of a speeding flash of light behind it, indicating the runner. There are people with a complete collection of them, not just other people can get them. There are t-shirts available from last year. As you know, they do get left over sometimes. The first year, I think we were a little short of them occasionally for the right size, and a few of the larger runners came in, and all we had left for them were a few of the little tinies for the kids. However, these problems are not the greatest. It's funny how you hear and read about running being so dangerous for your legs and your knees and so on, but I guess the other writers who write about it being addictive may be the right ones. There certainly are lots of runners, come in all shapes and sizes. They look glowy and flushed when they come in. They usually have a walker or two who just walks along at the very end of the route. First year, a lady came to walk it, and she was our first walker, I believe, and we all were quite amused because she carried her purse the whole way. I think she just couldn't find anybody to keep it. Nowadays we have places for purses, so those things have changed, but there are still the people who walk at the end and come in in an hour and a half or so. So we keep the finish line open for quite a while. Last year's winner was Doug Byers, who from Lethbridge, and as I said, the winner every year until this year was won by an Alberta runner. Lethbridge runners every year except one, when a fellow from Red Deer won it. So it's great to have Steve Pybus winning it this year and bringing the keeping the trophy in Cranbrook. We were to get some more information from the registration booth, but I guess it's a little slow. It's hard to keep track of everything back and forth between here and the college. We're several hundred yards away from where everything's going on, and there are lots of people sitting in the cafeteria just waiting for the exercising ones, the runners, to get through. And I was in a few just before this began. The windows were cluttered with kids who had brought their book and been sent to sit in the corner and read their book if they weren't going to run. I don't know, on a day like this, when you went inside and it was nice and warm and they were sitting cuddling with their book, it looked pretty inviting. Most runners keep their own time, and so they push those watches they have, and that's what you see them coming out clutching their arms. It's not because they they hurt their arm. They're just pushing the button and getting their time again. There are quite a large number of younger runners coming now. They're run together a lot. Some of them don't care what their times are. They just run with their friends too, and particularly when we're getting to these times, they're just clucking along with their friend. An awful lot of even sore hands, let alone sore legs. Getting so we can't see a whole lot of runners coming in right now down the chute. They gather up around here, but at least we haven't had the people. Some of them, will just upchuck when they get through the end. When it comes to the end, it's a bit of a stress on the system, I guess. But we haven't seen a lot of that yet. But the people in the chute are warned to wear their wellies. Quite an achievement to have run one, particularly if you haven't run one before, and the sense of accomplishment is good. Some of the older people coming in now, I see maybe it's just that they've been running this long, they begin to look older, feel older, who knows. As I say, the 50 and over category is pretty good. The dogs are here. I don't know exactly whose or why, but they're here to welcome their masters home. There's little ones, big ones, and they seem to be all over the place. I guess that's another thing would be always good to have, is a good lick and kiss from your dog. Well, the trees are still waving in the wind, and there's a guy over there with 3 shepherds running after a stick. All 3 of them got the same stick. All sorts of activity around here besides the running, although everybody, I think, is ready for their little bit of Kool-Aid and then have a cool down and go to the awards ceremony. They are clustering up, and I say still coming in large bunches, so there may have been the full 800. I wasn't sure by the time it got through whether it or 750. They may have all been there. Somehow when they all get together, you begin to think there's only a very few people, but they do spread out, and once they're spread out, it takes quite a while to gather them up and get them in. It's certainly a few sweaty heads we're beginning to see now. Maybe it was just the early ones had so much wind that they dried their hair. Who knows? The fitness instructors are out and doing their thing. They've done the run. Certainly, you don't see a lot of clumps of kids, although a lot of the kids that will later run in the Cranbrook Kimberley relay run this race too. It's a whole different kind of running to do that, but runner's a runner. It's a different kind of sport than the jumping or throwing or anything like that. Schools in the area have been very good at supporting this race. Certainly the Jaffrey School has always come in, and they've got a great deal of spirit at Jaffrey School, and they come in and can take on the best of the rest. So I wonder how they'll do in the... I don't know how they did last year. I haven't got the results, but we'll see. They... do have to have a group here that's controlling the route, so one always wonders what's happening further down. Sometimes it's a little hard for runners when there are cars on the route and they have to go around, or they have to wonder whether a car is going to come whizzing past them. It's not so bad up here. We don't see it, but there is traffic control down below. And certainly the traffic has been stopped on this road since half an hour before the race. Not only did they have to stop the traffic on the way in, then they had to stop it on the way out because it seemed that there was always a lot of things ready to go on. Here's the t-shirts beginning to appear. It's nice to go in, finish a race, have a shower, and get a new t-shirt on. That's probably the ultimate.
You were supposed to be running.
Here's somebody else. Did you finish the race? How was it?
Oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah? Did you like the wind?
Oh yeah, it helps, eh?
And the weather?
Behind my back, it helped.
Well, that's good. How much it was behind your back? More than half?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, really.
Is that right?
Yeah, it kind of winds to the wind.
Oh, that's good. So did you better your time than last year?
This is the first time I ever ran it.
Oh, you haven't run it
I
before?
did about 48 minutes.
Ah, good for
I
you.
was trying to keep it under an hour, that's all.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Lots of people. Everybody has a different goal in this game. Under an hour. It's like me when I go play golf. I try and get under 100, I guess. The golfers I see are not out today. They're could be right along behind side. There's Barb Fossey. Barb has run the race before. How was the race, Barb?
Good.
Yeah. Did the wind get you stopped at all?
No, it was nice coming down.
Yeah.
Wind behind.
How was your time?
I don't know.
You don't know yet. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Barbara's been one of the better runners for these years. She's a frequent winner in her category. It's and on they come. There's a kid here with a t-shirt that'd knock your eye out. I'm glad he didn't go past me at the top speed, or he'd have probably knocked somebody over with the brilliance of it. Rob, how was the race with you? Did you do a better time than last year?
I improved by 5 minutes. I was pretty happy with it.
That's pretty good. Was it a good day for running? I understand you guys better than some.
Well, at the start I thought the weather would be more of a factor, but turned out it was all right.
Yeah.
Cranbrook boy won. I was happy.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I can't see anything down here. Let's see.
Great.
I'm moving your camera for you.
That's okay.
Better if I stand on the roof. Okay. Oh, here we are. I'm up top now where the camera is, and I can actually see the people coming up on the last stretch of the race. It's amazing how many people have left their coats on the fence. It looks like a fence of a swimming pool there. They still come running in. Some of them, I guess, take a rest, but always where there's no crowd to watch them, just slowing down a bit. They say it's something you should always do, or should one time or another do, is run a race. I haven't done it yet myself, but I could walk one, but I don't know about this running business. There's some of the younger kids now. Seem to be making pretty good time, and they always sprint at the end, of course. Even the ones that have stayed by their buddy all the way through the race just so they come in together, then at the end get competitive and sprint in to see who can make it first. Somehow it seems a shame to put all this time and effort into an event and then it's over in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But these are the kinds of things that get people together, get a lot of school spirit and community spirit going. The prizes, of course, are given, donated by stores and merchants and so on, and throughout the Cranbrook community. They've always been very supportive. They're often sporting things, you know, T-shirts and other things that athletes use. The runners these days can, at this race, have been offered a photograph of themselves, some of the ones that came in alone, and pretty nice stuff. See, breaking the ribbon. Only one, of course, gets to do that, but you do have a big finish sign on top that you could have a picture for your grandmother or send your old aunt that you never liked anyway. Fantastic scenery, of course, at the backdrop to this whole thing. Never forget. Sure always looks better than Lethbridge to we mountain folk. You know, people are moving back and forth between here and the college. A lot of them have collected over where they get their T-shirts and have a drink of Kool-Aid. The school buses are up there where the kids came in, and just a few of them, they parked all around the college. The place is full up, no question about it. Some, of course, bring their trailers and they can jump right in there and I guess have a little nap when they're through a exertion like this. Kids have got some of the ribbons for the fun of it. They're coming in a steady stream still. It's amazing. Well, there's runners with Walkmans plugged into your ears, and there's people at the end here with cameras taking pictures, and everybody's got something hooked up to somewhere, it seems. Here's the kids getting there, going for their other T-shirts. At least today everybody won't go home with a big sunburn saying that they got that on the race. It's certainly not the day for that. The race is about a week earlier than it normally is. They decided to have it earlier this year. It seemed to conflict with a lot of things, and who knows, maybe that's why it's so chilly. I guess I neglected to say at the beginning that the mayor actually opened this. He did say a few words. The EKCC principal's working at the finish line, so he probably will have his say later. So the officials and dignitaries are around somewhere. I said earlier, this race was started by Francis Mansbridge 7 years ago, and of course he's running it every year. I know he was going to run in it this year. He did start it, but I think he then ran in it, so he has to forego the luxury of having a time taken that would be a legitimate time. He has a load of people around who have competitive spirit and like to at least know they've beaten Francis in his own race. drawn in. His brother has done a lot of running in the West Kootenay, and the Mansbridge pair, John and Francis, have been in a lot of runs around. The Bigfoot Running Club is always very helpful with this too. Many of its members are in the race and have helped to do a lot of the organizing and putting things together. Here comes a parent and child. It's hard to tell, you know, on a windy day like this from a distance whether it's the mother, father, son or daughter. But there's a pair of them coming in now. It looks as though the parent perhaps went through the finish line before and went back to run the child through. They're thinning out now. Not quite so many people coming up the hill, although they can still make a real sprint for it at the end. I have my undying admiration for doing that. That's perhaps why some of them have a little bit of an upset in their stomachs by the time they get here. It doesn't look like much of a rise, but it's hard enough to run when you're doing it on foot. They sure get their sweatpants on in a hurry if they were in their shorts in this wintry wind. There are the regular runners there. It's good to see the people that come out so many times, so many years to just knock themselves out. One and two at a time, they're coming up the hill now. Sometimes you don't know if they're just the observers walking onto the road, but they're getting to be more and more numerous as well. But it's mainly the runners still coming in. A lot of them got hats. I suppose there was a vague and slight possibility it would have turned sunny around here. I suppose there were people that thought it might happen. Most of the crowd, I think, is over by the college now, where they can get their t-shirts. The dogs are sitting quietly. I guess they've gone and caught at one stick, 3 at a time, often enough. Boy, I wonder what it looks like when you turn that last corner and think, oh, I can see the finish line, and then you got to run up that hill still.
First of all, I'd like to thank a lot of people who helped with this race. You know, a race like this just doesn't happen. There are over 100 people who have worked many, many hours and many weekends, evenings to make this race a success, and I would personally like to really thank them. I'd also like to thank a lot of the sponsors and donors who have helped make this race a success also. And in particular, I'd like to mention the college, EK Radio, the Daily Townsman, and the following who have donated various goods and services to the race. Beaver Lumber, Donut Factory, Kootenay Cattle Company, Bavarian Sports and Hardware, Sun and Powder Sports, Canada Safeway, Overweighty Foods, Swanson's Menswear, Palm Dairies, Super Value, McDonald's Restaurant, and Cranbrook Photo. And thanks very much for all those. Okay. Okay, we'll start off with some door prizes and drawing the numbers. Okay, for the first door prize from Beaver Lumber, we have. No, sorry. Okay, we'll take the first. From Sun and Powder Sports, we have a $20 gift certificate. Okay, it's number 474, and we'll check the name because may not know it. Okay, a Cheryl Knight. Okay, if the people aren't here, we'll just draw another number. Okay. Number 465. Barry Nakahara.
465.
Number 10.
Get him! Get him!
Freedom Jaswal. Okay, and another $20 gift certificate from Sun and Powder. Number 79. David Livingston. David Livingston here? No? Okay, another number. Number 618. Adrian Lemire. Number 93. Kevin Ewart. And from Canada Safeway, we have a $25 gift order. Number 99. Wayne Gretzky is here. Randy DeYoung.
You're awesome.
Number 108, Scott Niedermeyer. Okay, and from Overweighty, we have a $25 gift certificate. Number 215, Martinsrell. Number 728 for a gift certificate from Overweighty. Okay. Oh, $25. Dave Dissett. You know? Oh, Dave Dissett. Okay, from one of our finer establishments, the Kootenay Cattle Company, a $15 gift certificate. Number 513, Ron Bosey. Number 513, Ron Bosey, no. Number 615. Jarrett Hatala. Number 167. Jeff Stringer. Number 379. Sandra Caulfield. Oh, Coghill. Sandra Coghill. 281. Mark Ross. Number 116. Leanne Wilfred. Oh, yeah. Okay, from the donut factory, we have a dozen donuts. Number 401. Michael Avakova. Number 183. Robert Jerkovitz. $4.75. Robin Miller. 77. Neil Weisenberg. 331. Shirley Neal. Number 633, Bruce Thomas. Thomason, rather. Number 27. Constance Gibb. Ah, there we go. Okay, from the Bavarian Sports Hardware, we have a certificate for $10. Number 197, Oliver Blake. And also from the Bavarian Sports Hardware, a $10 gift certificate. 195, Pippa Blake. Okay, now we're getting to the big stuff. From Beaver Lumber, this is your one-of-a-kind heat and strip electric paint remover. Thought I was going to say something else. So it's a unique gift. Number 346, Jennifer Organ. Number 525. Kirsten Magic. Also from Cranbrook Photo, we have quite a special award here, and we have 16 by 20 photos done of the top male and top female finisher, and the top male is Steve Pivas. What is the top female's name? I should know this. I'm not a race director, but she was from Lethbridge and may have gone. But anyway, Steve Pivas, you can pick this up here. And where's Steve Pivas? Yes, they're here. Yeah. And we'll get the other picture to the appropriate lady. Okay. Okay, also a couple of other awards that were initiated, one of them 2 years ago, one of them a year ago. Certificates are given to the charter runners who have competed and completed in all 7 EK10Ks. Unfortunately, the certificates were not readied in time, but they will be mailed out to the following people: Doug McDonald, Jerry Kemp, Fred Clark, Steve Kemp, and Sandy Stewart. These people have participated in all 7 races to this point. The top woman is Shelley Jankowiak, and actually she has competed in the race a number of times before, and if she is not here, the picture will, I suppose, be mailed out to her. Yeah. Okay, and also an award that was initiated last year is for the EK loyalists who have taken part in 6 of the 7 races, 6 of the last 7. And they are as so, and I'll read out the list, and if those people who are here could pick them up, and I'll apologize for any inaccuracies, as this is a last-minute thing, but I think we're pretty clear. Okay, so if the following people are here, could they come and pick up their EK Loyalist headband? Pat Horning. Pat Horning. Really, 2 of them. And Rod Constable from Lethbridge. Sid Wisher. He's here, I think. Lawrence Samuelson. John Young. Okay. Yeah. Greg Coldwell. Bill Goss. John Sorensen. Okay. Here we have Samuelson, we have Fisher. That's just 2 so far. Okay, John Sorensen, mentioned. Charlie Fagan. That's John Sorensen. And Mary Lou McDonald. Yes. Okay, and okay, and we seem to have been rid of those things anyway. Also, if I think Joanne Mansbridge actually qualifies to run as well. She's here. And also, if I've missed any of these people who are here, Jim Logan, Scott McDonald, Mike Mizuraka, Gary Roberts, and Andrew Walmsley, but I don't believe they did run. Okay, the Loyalist headbands will be mailed out or given to the other people. Okay. Okay, another important announcement. Cranbrook Photo was taking pictures of, at least attempting to, of everyone crossing the finish line individually. These will be on display on Tuesday at Cranbrook Photo. You may go down there and see what's there and order whatever pictures you want from Cranbrook Photo. Okay, now, as soon as we get the computer lists, and we'll check on that right now, we can move on to the age category awards. The top 3 in each category get medals, the next 3 get ribbons, and we also have a total of 7 trophies to hand out as well. So there's a lot of prizes to come. Ready to go in the category awards. Great. Okay, for runner 621, the 621st runner, Michelle Van Stam. Okay, if she's not here, they will be mailed or sent to her. Runner 530, Keir Valance. Well, runner 416, Dominique Drummond. Runner 333, Shannon Bashinsky. Runner 251, Doug Johnson.
Hey, Doug.
Runner 144, Neil Weisenberg. And runner number 80, Brock Garvin. Okay, these are all got one anyway. Okay, these are all given out courtesy of Swanson's Menswear, and to the other runners, they will be mailed out. Okay, now on to the category awards. And okay, starting with 0 to 10s. Okay, starting with female. In sixth place with a time of 59:43, and this is not fixed, Danielle Mansbridge. Yes. Well, congratulations. In fifth place, okay, maybe we should do these all together. Yeah. Okay, I think what we'll do, we'll get all the categories up together, as otherwise it might take rather longer than we would want to state. And so I'll call out all the winners then of the 0 to 10 category. In sixth place is Danielle Mansbridge. In fifth place, Jane Wigmore with a time of 59:39. In fourth place, maybe just applaud all at the end here, then otherwise you get worn out. In fourth place, Jennifer Organ with a time of 59:35. In third place, Becky Phillips with a time of 57:01. In second place, Michelle Underhill with a time of 56:04. And in first place, Carrie Rampersad with a time of 47:31. Wow. Okay, could those runners come forward, please? Okay, make sure we get the right ones now.
Kilometer.
Okay, those to Jennifer Organ and Jane Wigmore will be mailed or sent to them. Okay, now we want boys. Okay, boys 0 to 10, 10 and under. Suspense. In 6th place with a time of 52:36, Paul Fries. In 5th place with a time of 51:30, Jeff Gillis. In 4th place with a time of 47:09, Derek Rampersad. In 3rd place with a time of 47:07, Kevin Ewart. In 2nd place with a time of 46:39, Neil Rampersad. And in 1st place with a time of 45:57, Robbie Niedermeyer.